All right, good morning, everyone. This is Michael Venezia. It's September 26th. We're getting to the end of the month, the end of the quarter, and I'm going to get right into TGH this morning because, uh, first of all, if you're signed on here, listen to me. You're obviously at some sort of good, decent level of trading or wanting to learn, and quite honestly, you're in the right place. So let me just sign into TradeGATEHub this morning, and I'm just going to before I sign in, I'm going to tell you what this is about. I'm going to tell you my thought process over the weekend until the times I saw the forex of the currencies open at 4 Eastern into the time the futures open Sunday night at 6 Eastern. What I was thinking and my plan and how it matriculated over the morning and where I sit now. And I'm doing that because on a day-to-day basis, the one thing that we can guarantee is that you're not going to be short of ideas or where the action is per se. And certainly there's a lot of it going on more than usual, considering there is not a 9/11, God forbid, a financial crisis, a COVID scare. I'm not minimizing the fact that there's a war going on, but there's a couple of geopolitical events that might be just as big as that one event. It certainly feels that way, but for the market to make these type of moves, unprecedented moves, like you're seeing, the dollar been moved since the early 80s, one of the most actively traded financial instruments in the world. And I'm going to get back into that point in a second. So let me sign into TradeGATEHub. Like I said, it's the same way I sign into everybody else. It's that easy of a process. Plus, we don't want to be any hypocritical this year. I'm going to tell you another good point. Hi, guys. All right. So before I start, anything that was starting this morning or that I say, coming now or going forward, if you will, and I'll show you what my sign on is for those that are on the newer side. It's right here. Gordon saying, how you doing? Well, the future's going negative. That's not good. Okay, so it's always go to the red YouTube channel, and that go to our video. We have a lot of subscribers, getting more day by day. He got coached. They already posted it 1 hour ago, and right after I get off here, that's what I'm going to do is watch Coach's videos. The futures break low. It's all about the Europe close right now at 11:04 Eastern Monday. All right, so there's our that's our video dossier, if you will. That's our DNA of what we do, going back almost a year and a half now. We do it. We're going to start doing it Thursdays. Not the coach and I are going to start doing it Thursdays. So if I'm skipping over data, is it something that you're not, focused into this morning, go back and look. Okay, so let me go to here. Okay, this is Monday morning. Okay, so I'll go to charts right now, and this will be evident of what's going on in the market. Okay, here's what's going on in the market on the macro view. Okay, here's our daily chart. Here's our weekly chart on the SPYs, testing the 200-day. Certainly doesn't look like it's over. I mean, aside from the fact, I'll get right to another bullet point, is that the fact that it's a completely, everybody's offside, and there's more puts being bought than the 30 years. Jim Cramer's quoting that we're the most oversold in 30 years as well, or bearish sentiment, if you will. There's a lot of still offside positioning that was analogous to June, but this time it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? So this is where we are with the SPYs. Now, let me tell you what I was thinking going into the weekend. Obviously, it's a precarious position with the VIX still hovering up and down 30, which we all agree, and at least in the room, that's a pretty big barometer right now. Some are even calling for a VIX 40. Not myself, but you have to be aware because that's derivative. That's where your plan gets derived some. All right, so this is where we closed on Friday. Some people calling in the room for a Monday meltdown. Certainly, I would argue. I wouldn't argue it. It still could happen. So only an hour and a half into trading. So there's where we are. So now I'm saying there have been moves more in this year. I can go back to Charles right here. Hold on TradeGATEHub, and he's the one who has great stats. Matter of fact, he probably has one now. He has great stats on this. And hold on, this is worth looking at because it'll just tell you how offsides or things are trading in a dramatic moment, and why the VIX for some time everybody was perplexed why it was staying down, in the mid 20s, but now it's over 30, as I said before. Charles Bilello, good guy. Okay, has a ton of followers, 500,000. So the U.S. dollar index is its highest level in over 20 years. Okay, the dollar I'm not sure of the recent quote, but that's the most heavily traded instrument in year over year, however you want to articulate it. All right, so Another one. He gives it 2002 returns. Now it's not late anymore. We're approaching the end of the third quarter. So you have Apple down 15%, unprecedented. Tesla down 22%, still hanging in there though. Shopify, Square down 65% for the year. Forget about what it did the previous year. But I want to go and make another call. Besides, we post commodity points. Very good macro view of what's going on with the market. If I can't get it, I'm not going to waste any more time. As I said before, the U.S. bond market is on pace for the worst year in history. The bond market. I grew up with guys, on the train. They sat in the back of the train because no one wanted to be associated with a bond trader. But the point being is that's a big move for bond. If you're not, it's kind of a boomer statistic, if you will, as the futures do break lower. The previous loss for the bond market was 2.9% in 1994. We're talking 13.8% for the bond market. There's no place to hide. So this is, you know what? And there's Charlie. See, I hung in there. I had a plan. The S&P fell 1.7% on Friday. It's the 30th decline of the year. 30th decline between 1% and 2%. The most since 2008. Going back to a financial crisis as was breaking low, you bitch. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, Mom. You know where I'm coming from. So parameters of normal traders, even for experts, are getting expanded. So with that being said, there's one of two type of trades right now. Taking money out of the market on a day-to-day basis, derived from what and what's active lately, and what are the barometers everybody's watching lately. And I am going to get back to my thinking over the weekend and where I sit now. Don't get me wrong. The barometer is this, the trifecta. Where is it? The UUP, I put it here. The UUP, the dollar. We'll go to a chart before I go back to my plan because I don't want to be jumping. The UUP is what's driving us right now. Okay, there's the chart on the UUP, getting to that territory, if you will. But as you say, the cliche is the market stretches parameters that are not known. A lot of, it's the market can stretch these parameters a lot longer than people can say solvent. That's why I say either take money to the market, and we should, because the VIX is over 30, or else, it is definitely time to start dipping your toes in selected equities. I don't want to sound pitchy, but I'm not saying that this is the bottom at all. I'm saying this is the tactical sentiment is way oversold. You might want to wait for a nice pop to short even more. I'm not saying that's not the right or wrong thing to do. Okay, so this is what I was thinking going into the weekend. Okay, here we are on the SPYs. So I see the dollar. I see a lot of these currencies, as I highlighted there before, making. Okay, I have to go back to this because this was a phenomenal anomaly, and we were talking about it on the TradeView chat. So let me go here and just give you an example if I haven't before. I don't mean to go off on all these tangents. All right. So here, the pound is in free fall. It hits a new record and is quickly heading towards parity with the dollar. So the pound is in free fall last night, as I think it was maybe 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock Eastern. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I will go back. I'm sure I will get corrected. I should get corrected if I'm not right, but give or take an hour or two. And then I posted that pound, that the dollar was not long behind it. All right. So as of 4:30 Eastern, the futures open up at 6 Eastern. I'm saying, we have to be down at least, 40, 50, maybe even 1%, regardless of how many handles the market is at these days. So then I saw the futures open at 6 o'clock Eastern. Subsequently, they opened only about 12 handles, 13 handles. So they had some time, to disseminate the information, and things, some of those dollar moves kind of cooled off and came back. But by the way, phenomenal moves, and edified to my point that just be actively trading right there. You got to be focused and be alert here. If you have in stops with this type of sensitive of a market, it's not a stop. Like I said, the lower the VIX, the more stops work. The higher the VIX or these moves in the dollar, the more that you're trying to time the market essentially in stops, and nobody can time the market, especially at these levels. It's evidenced by these moves. So watch it with the stops. The higher the VIX, the more I don't put stops in. My job is, when the market's that active and the VIX is that high, is to be here babysitting my positions. It's not time to, maybe even extending a webinar, if you will. So the higher the VIX, the less you put stops in. You got to babysit these things. This is your business during the height of whatever season. You're a business on the Jersey Shore and it's Memorial Day. It's not your time to be playing golf or anything. You got to be there. You coddle your business. This is the same type of thing. I digress. So the market was looking at about 12, 14 handles, and these Forex moves were coming into, were evening off. And then I looked how Asia was doing. It wasn't down that badly. The FTSE was actually positive all evening, which said to me, nobody's really panicking at this point. And you know what? There was kind of evidence in the futures because they were going back and forth all morning. And I'm not going to really punch up. You should know this, by the way. You know what? I'll even do this. I'll even give a futures. Let's go to the ES futures. Let's go to this one. All right, so let's go to 1 day. We'll go to the futures, right? Here we go. Cash streaming. All right, so this is what I usually use. Come on, guy. 10-day. I don't want the 10-day. 5-minute. All right, these are the futures from last night too. So they're up. This is not I wanted as a trader. So when I first of all, I said panic is not. It doesn't seem like panic is setting in. Aside for any other, listen, when things start rolling that way, they have a tendency to keep going. So I was cognizant there would be one of these type dollar or a pound type of moves, which would naturally carry into the equity market. It has no, it has to, and it should, and it did. So I'm saying, all right, there's not the flush that I wanted to. Everything was not down like it was on Friday. There's going to be places to hide. And that's not really what I wanted to see, because I wanted another I wanted a bad Monday. I have liquidity naturally. And, there's just too much. Doesn't seem to be any much fear out. There's too many, there's too many outs. Let me go to my screen right now and I'll show the share screen right here. Look, all right. You know what I mean? The spies broke low. There's plenty of places to hide. Yes, did Michael Apple saw the big four, are they up? But that's not what I wanted, because they don't seem that capitulatory yet. People that were down in certain other stocks had time to rotate out of their winners. Believe me, there was enough to do where if you were stuck or in the hole, you had that. I didn't want to see that. Friday was all red. There was not, the only red one was, I believe, Twitter. A green one was Twitter, and maybe LVS. Did LVS hang in there? I'm not sure. You get the picture. But today, there's not that, capitulatory situation. Coin is up. Tesla bounced nicely. You had China was being forced back to buy their own equities, whatever it was. AMD went from good green to I'm upset about that still. I'm not giving up on it, although I'm not going to have an ego going to the chart of AMD now. I thought it felt capitulatory on Friday, especially with the volume. But you know what? If it goes any lower, I'm going to sell it. This is a situation where I'm only down. I was up. I'm down 30 cents in AMD because I did catch a nice move Friday. But I'm not necessarily going to have AMD be. I don't want this one. I'm definitely not going to have the trade turning into position. So what do we sit here? All right. So I want, as from my trading standpoint, when I looked at my P&L, my unrealized P&L was up like $40,000. As you could see, I had like 2 million on, and I didn't want that because I knew it was a drift up, and at any time they could pull the rug, as evidenced by this. So, you know what? It's a tough thing to say, and here's where the spies stay. It's a tough thing to say. Here's the 1 minute. This is where we opened today. So let me go to even at 6 minute of spies. I mean, we're, the low on the spies is 363 or 367. I didn't want that. I wanted to be down a decent amount. Because all my positions, sans one or two, are positions I would buy right away now. Some for maybe for my trading account, maybe, there's always a problem, you know what I mean? But I wanted there to be a flush. Now I'm impartial. It's a position where, am I going to have to take off some winners that are actually working to take off some winning profits to offset to some of the losers that I need to sell? But this is not a market where you let your winners run, because like I said, I was more upset that I was up money this morning than I was down. Now I'm in a more difficult position, to you will. Now, like I said, I'll even give an example. What turned from a good position to a bad position is run. Now, here's the long-term on run. It went from, best to worst. Now it looks, it looks like it could go down now. The same with what it was, Nike's been a one I've had trepidation with. Well, I'm not gonna step in there and say, that's it. You know what I mean? I wanted it to be down in for a long-term position. But you know what? SPXL didn't hold. It's very delicate right now. EMPH was up 6, and that gave you a chance to short it. So was Roblox was up 2. Yesterday, Roblox, everybody knew I liked that. So when I saw Roblox close at 35 and I saw it at 38, I said, that's no good. It didn't have a chance to get in, and I knew it would pull back because it's a short squeeze. It went up too soon. And that's evidenced by a bear market short squeeze. It wasn't this type of bottom and then take out, yesterday's low with volume and just drift up. It was just, it was not what you wanted. Yeah, live trades. What else do you need? Ask me a question, Lewis. Live trade. So yeah, I'm not shy. Everybody knows shy. So let's look at some oils here. So okay, so now where do I sit at 11:20? So this is what I'm thinking now. All right. I'm not happy, like I said, that the moves have been, let me go back again, that have been made. There've been some nice moves for people to get out. Coin made a nice move. For somebody was listen, Coin, for somebody was trying to pick the bottom yesterday, a move from Coin from 59 to 65 is a great move. So suppose the dude, whoever it was, didn't get Coin at 59. Suppose he bought it a little above 6 and he says, I'm going to hold it for a trade and hopefully the futures open up on Monday. Shop and Riven, good question, Lewis. But you know what I'm saying? They gave a nice move for you to get outs, and that's what I don't like. It gave, longs too many outs. Citibank breaking lower. We've avoided that. I mean, look at Citibank. You know what I mean? I don't know what to do there. I'm not going to certainly trade it on a short-term basis. That's not my style. That's not my style. It's not a punch in the juice in the punch bowl, as they say. But that's a macro situation where I'm looking at Citicorp. You know what I mean? Crude. I like the fact that crude is going down. I wouldn't put any credence in this crude trade right now. There's the crude chart. You know what I mean? What's got that going to take for anybody to have belief in it? Maybe it goes to 25, the USO, UCO. I get it. Chevron, which broke the 200-day again. Those no bottom in sight. I like it. JP Morgan, same thing. Double bull flag, whatever, bear flag, whatever you want to call it. So Lewis wants to ask. First of all, I want to make a question about a statement. To Lewis again. One of the questions Lewis asked me late Friday, and this is exactly what he should be asking, is now being a seasoned trader as well as a good salesman, is that he says, Mike, what is the most pain you're in? And he's been listening to videos because when I sat at a desk with sometimes seasoned traders and the guys, his timing might be slightly off, and most pros are, but he's in like the right church, wrong pew. And it'll be like, oh, TTD's hurting me the most because when it pros, so Lewis asked me what position are you down the most in? My answer was NVAX, and I would certainly am still breaking lower. This bitch, NVAX. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. I'm not square breaking lower. This square. As I'm looking now, here's this chart on square, and that was a mistake on as I said, the only position that I wouldn't buy right now is probably that NVAX as Marna's breaking low. But what do I think about Shop and Riven? Shopify, I didn't like the fact that I saw ads for Shopify on football yesterday in America. You know what I mean? Shopify. Lewis, you can answer it just as good as I do. It has $4 down and $4 up from here. You know what I mean? That's $4 up and $4 down. LVS shook everybody out. Look at that. Now LVS 34. I had to sell it. Went from 41 to 34, back to 40. What a move that is. What do I think of Riven? You know what, Riven? I like Riven. I like Riven technically. I like the fact that it never broke down. I like that it's in the right sector, if you will. Nio still hanging in there. Riven, I like. Let's look at Lucid. They still short this thing? Lucid, no good. And this is what I look. See, when somebody asks me about Riven, then he asks about the others, areas in the stocks in the sector. Riven's the best of breed. Well, actually, Tesla's the best of breed. Tesla, you know what? They're trying to hang on, man. 3 days down, too. That was the time to buy, right, everyone? 3 days down. I'm not saying it was a 5-star position, but from 313 to 270, certainly $43 with some volume into the capitulatory Friday, very well could have not worked. It still might not work. Run. They're going down now. All right, so where's the VIX? I'm watching the UUP. What are we watching now? UUP. We still sharing? Now I got to babysit the positions. UUP. Now I have to look at a weekly on the UUP. Just going bananas. Bananas. Boom. Getting close. You need a blow off top on this thing. I don't know if it's there yet. The UUP. So you have to watch VIX. Easy guy. Here's the VIX. VXX. The VIX is hovering where? Investing. Futures. You know what? This is coming at 11:15 too. The VIX is at 31. That's not good. This, this is beyond margin call at 11:20 Eastern. This usually happens at 10:30 around. So this could be a general meltdown. So, just keep stocks. The key thing is if you want to try to, concentrate, stocks definitely didn't break. They're not breaking Friday's low because they didn't get margin called out yet. And try to buy, the whole place was predicated upon green. What do you have to keep in mind here on stocks like the trade that are active for good traders? And these are the stocks. SAVA, SAVA, right? That's a stock that has to be actively traded. PBF was actively traded. SIGA, no good. Twilo, Roblox. Any questions? Shop and Riven, Lewis. I like Shop better than Riven. Riven better than Shop. I'm sorry. All right. So as the market's pulling back here nicely, I want to see if some option guys are stepping up here. Fear and greed back to 21. So maybe it's setting up for a turnaround Tuesday. I'm certainly not going to step in here. My daily P&L reversed, which I'm not happy about. But as you saw my positions, the majority of them I would probably start now, not as aggressively because my timing is off. But I have to monitor to the UUP. So here's the fear and greed as we speak. QQQ support flipped this morning and bears apply to FOMC high. Got to keep that in mind. That broke through the gap there. So you know what I mean? I did take some off as I should this morning. Markets collapse mode again. That's fear. I like the fly to getting everybody fearful again. That's fine. Dollar still strong. Treasury down. Volume up. Backwardation. There's no underlying shift other than an oversold, hated market. That's right. That's from what a seasoned trader says. The dollar's strong and the yields are down. Treasuries are down. Volume's up. There's no underlying shift other than a very hated market. And that's true. It's not really a time to go step in there and go heavy. All right. Frank Zarilla, 3,700 stocks, fresh month lows, one of the highest readings. All right. So other than readings getting exacerbated or oversold or whatever you want to call it, certainly as we know, it's not a reason to go in. Am I going overtime? No, I'm not. If you're not, then hang up. But maybe I'm going to talk as I trade. Any other questions? BJ, nice bounce. They go into BJ. Costco, you know what? Frommerhertz called up BJ and there were Costco sweeps going off. I'm not getting hurt that badly right here. And I don't know if that's a positive. Kramer, what is he saying? The market is not the dot-com crash. Here's how to play it. There's inverse Kramer. All right. What are my trades from here? And that's most important. You're having Fed speak. I mean, it's hard to step. It's hard to make a stand. I want to make a stand, but I'm not. You know what? The problem with now it being this Monday late morning is everybody's trying to pick the bottom at this point. That's not, it's not a reason to try to do it. Here's what he says again, mind the 11-8 term. It's a mess. So it could go either way. Just like the question on Roblox, on Shop. It can go up 4, down 4 from here. So you know what? Don't try to be a hero. More evidence than not. Yeah. I'll always, you got to go to best of breeds. Is Microsoft necessary? Microsoft's still positive. I don't know if it's necessarily the line in the sand. The line in the sand here could be, could pull you out into an undertow. So this is the chart on Microsoft. Let's look at that. Let's look at the IW. I did sell some TNA this morning too at 31. There's the TNA. Let's look another one. We'll finish here because I think I'm going overboard, although I want to trade, but I got a fiduciary responsibility. So Citicorp, they're bearish. FCX bullish. Now Google, they're bearish, but that's going out into September. The real Google guy that was sending off leap bombs was going out late January. So here's the update right here, and this is what I put credence in. It's turned into some light mixed flow with a bit of a bearish lean. All right, you could see that by looking. Looks for early squeeze players have run out of gas, and it seems like that. I mean, 10:30, I would have liked them to squeeze them. 11:30, I don't. For the moment, they did go green. Most of the protective order here seems to be focused on fins, as you saw this Citicorp puts. Not seeing any early signs of anything else out there. All right, put call ratios got wiped out. It's early. You have to be aware of snow puts, FCX bullish, IWM bearish. Let's go back to on my other feed here. Noted. Let's go to the only thing that matters and should, if you're an active trader, is this stock scanner. Stock scanner. And what's up on a high relative volume? Yeah, you got huge moves. ADTX, Melco, LVS Win, we all mentioned it. EDU, we mentioned it because it's China. AVCT. Now we got to look at what's down on high relative volume. Let's see if anything's capitulating. RRC getting annihilated. I don't want PAGs. That's not good for PAGs because I have this MQ. I believe in this MQ. iPaper. We go to time, press time. Futures breaking low. RC, Agilent, UMP. So DraftKings going lower. OHI, banks are going lower. XP, not good for the family. All right. Any other questions? Any questions? Or else I'm going to sign off. XLV. Lewis, he's right. Good volume until now. XLV, right question. I'm not going to lie to you. So what do I think in the XLV when Lewis asked me this question? And that's actually the flight to safety trade to a degree. You know what, Lewis? You know what? I'm not going to talk you out of it of buying 10% of a position, but I wouldn't talk you in. I would having trouble talking you into 50% position. You know what I mean? So start 10%. You know, it's the right sector. I'm not going to lie. Where's the XME? The right sector. Listen, everything's the right XME. You know, I don't know. I don't know. And I shouldn't know because when, I'm going on price action right now. It's the time to actively trade. That's all. And not to stick your head out. There's movements. The VIX is high. And, that's best for trading right now. These long-term situation, my guess is as good as anybody. You know what I mean? You could follow you know what I mean? Nobody's willing to step in here. And it's not because there's really a lot of sellers. There's a lack of buyers. And majority, as everybody knows, the retail traders all but blown out. This is guys like me that are trying to, outmaneuver themselves and trying to position to something and, try to get in first. But I'd rather be last in and first out. I'd rather be LILO than FIFO. You know what I mean? This is not a first in market. Now everything's looking here. So that's all he ran. XLV position. Like I said, Lewis, I could probably convince you to buy a 10% position. I'd probably have a harder time to convince you to buy a 40 or 50% position in XLV. You know what I mean? Traders bet for 200 basis point. Overall flow mix. No, that was before. You know what, guys? Just go to this is all what matters. High volume, new highs as of 11 o'clock, new lows as of 11:30. RRC, these are stocks that are making lows. Some of them have good volume, some of them might RRC. That's a natural gas stock that went, look at this RRC. God, that might, you know what? I might think, it's not time. You know what? I look at it and this is what I see when I see RRC because it goes in natural gas and obviously gas or crude. That's what I see on RRC. That might be capitulatory bottom, but those trades haven't been working right now. And I'm probably not going to get much out of it. It's not like a bottom here. And it's got a gap. It's broken. It's below the 200-day. It's not like buying this dip. So listen, guys, I don't know what to say is 11:30. Here we are on the SPYs watching, the 360 level. Here we are at 365. Maybe they go to 360. Who knows? Here's my break low chart as of now, and it's lighting up again. So, be tactical. be tactical. Any other questions? Thanks, guys. Gerard, Joba, G Money. G Money. And this is what another good point is, just because there's a high level of negativity, and you'll learn this the more season you get, this doesn't mean it will lead to a strong bounce. But we're here to trade. And, I'm not, the swing trading, as I've been pontificating and not really practicing too much, is no swing trading. There's the VIX that high to close off, tactically trade, be aware, and focus. This is the time where focus is prevalent more than anything. Use your scanners, know yourself, don't try to step out the box. And if the one thing you do not have is get a TradeView demo, because this is I'm a believer when you have higher level people and good people around you, safety nets, you want to learn how to swim, boom. You know what I mean? We'll save you, learn how to, we'll push you right into 12 feet. We're not going to promise you we'll let you drown, but when you're fearing for your life a little bit, you learn how to scare. You learn how to swim better. And with a TradeView demo, by no means are we compromising your financial conditions. You'll just learn more and just pay attention to the trade. So this is the deep end of the pool. You know what I mean? Everybody that's been tuning in, bravo. Please help more with the data that you're posting, so I don't have to continuously post all the necessary data, and we can get on to trading. Right now I'm looking at stocks. I can't stop. I'm not going to lie. I'm fired up now. Okay, here's Alcoa, long-term chart. What are you going to do there? Here's a chart on Chevron now. Let's make it even blowing up more. There's the 200-day. Citibank, Goldman Sachs, the big daddy. The gap at 295. Got to be aware of it. Walmart, Target, Lewis called that great short. I'm not going to lie. There's Target coins hanging in there. Tesla's still positive. This is the time that you might be wanting to buy Tim Fury positive. Pins, Shopify, Roblox, Twilo. My P&L just jumped in half. I'm not going to lie. So PBF. Oh, by the way, I want to mention the one that might be a good stock that someone built a position is AKRO, a position that a lot of guys are building into this. This seems to be an up and coming bio. And who gave me the idea? But this guy. First of all, I know about it because it's on my screen. If everybody has been watching or can take a picture, or my P&L's ripping, is this guy, HedgeMine. Very good guy. If I had $1 for every time I'm signing off now, I could retire. But you know what I mean? You look at something in the corner of your eye and things just take a mind of their own. And he posted this the other day. Hedge funds acquired 5% ownerships of bios. There's AKRO, good stock. I'm going to stop buying this for the funder. You know what I mean? I certainly wouldn't short it. But I'll leave it off at that, guys, with TradeGATEHub. And as I leave off, I went a little overtime at 11:15. Certainly, I'm going to go back and watch a coach's video at 9:30. I'm going to take Tony P for a walk. I am going to, I'm back on caffeinated coffee. I didn't take caffeine for years. It's literally like 3 years. So I chose either more stomach ache and more Tums over caffeine, and I fell to a vice. Thank God it's coffee. It's probably my only one. It is my only one. So I felt the caffeine. So I'm still fired up regardless of caffeine or not. So keep contributing, have a plan,